All right, so I do videos all the time that try to give buyers and sellers advice. I talk about tips and tricks and best practices and things that I always recommend for people to do, and I explain the why behind it. But the one thing that stands out to me the most that people do not do, and honestly, I think it's more, ultimately just boils down to laziness is probably not the right word, but it's just, it's more of they get what they want and they just move on versus actually looking for the best deal. And that has everything to do with shopping lenders. I mean, it is, people ask me, Steve, what's the number one mistake buyers often do? They don't shop lenders. A year from now, they're going to say, Steve, what's the number one mistake you see buyers make? They don't shop lenders. 3 years ago, people would say, Steve, what's the number one mistake buyers make? I'm going to say, they don't shop lenders. I say this all the time, verbatim, to everybody, constant. 90% of buyers do not listen to me. 90% of buyers talk to one lender, they get their pre-approval, they move on, which is fine. You can do that. I know how lending works. I probably educated myself on the loan process, loan types, fees, how everything works, more so than most agents, because I actually like learning. And in doing so, I have seen closing costs vary by thousands, with an S, thousands. I have seen rates vary by a full percentage, by 1 point. And when you're talking a $300,000 home, we're talking hundreds of dollars a month in savings, hundreds a month in savings, let alone the higher price you go, the more the interest impacts and the more you pay. But I finally had a buyer shop lenders. And I want to talk about a few things that they done and a few things you got to watch out for, because shopping lenders is a little bit more than just calling them and saying, hey, what's your rate? What's your closing cost? Or especially what's their rate? That's what most people are concerned with, and that's probably the most important thing. And then it's closing costs. But so what happened is they talked to a few different lenders. Ended up finding one that was, that they thought that gave them what they want, basically give them a pre-approval. They went with one. Well, we get basically putting an offer in, and Steven actually talked to some other lenders, and I want to go with this one, just gave me a better deal. Thousands less in closing cost and a better interest rate. Now, they also, from a family member, had a recommendation for another lender, and I don't necessarily know the other lender personally, know of them, I've closed deals, but also, from my understanding and just in passing, not the best reputation. And usually this is more the online lenders, not so much the local lenders where you're going to see this. And so they messaged me and said, hey, the rate that this person is telling me is just way less than everybody else. And I'm talking like way less, like a half point less than lenders who I know generally have the best rates anyways. So to me, that's already jumping off some red flags. And again, just in passing, hearing stuff from other people, having a little bit of concern. I never see anything black and white for me, but I hear the rumors. So I'm like, hey, just be cautious. She's like, what's your opinion on it? I said, well, it just sounds too good to be true. And there are situations where it does. It is too good to be true. And I said, hey, get numbers from them. So what that means is, sure, you're going to tell me you're going to give me this ridiculously low interest rate. Let me see the numbers in order for me to get that. Because that's going to tell the story. Are they literally gutting out their commission and profits, which maybe they are to get a deal? All right, we do that. So maybe they were doing that, and then other lenders were telling her the same thing. Hey, show me what they have, and we'll see if we can match or beat it. If not, we'll let you know. So she goes back to that lender and says, hey, send me over your final numbers. All of a sudden, they started acting weird, work around, and they never would send her the numbers. They never would. Because what happens is lenders can tell you, and this is where I run into the problem with the online lenders all the time, is for one, it's not even a pre-approval. They give you tell them information on the phone, they send you a pre-approval, because they don't want to waste their time up front with you. They want to wait until you go pending, and then they'll start, and then a lot of times that's why it ends up to fall through. That's why agents, we all hate online lenders because they don't do their job good. Local lenders, they don't have the money to sponsor ESPN and to have billboards everywhere and to have, you know, all this radio ads. So they go off relationships in order to grow their business, and relationships with agents, knowing that they go above and beyond, they do great, they give service, they don't screw the client, they don't have excessive fees, they generally have low, very, very low interest rates. And by doing so and offering good customer service, they grow their business organically like that for the most part. Whereas the online lenders, they don't care about that. And again, that's why they get the bad reputation. But yeah, so all the other lenders like, hey, have them send us over, we'll see what's going on. Well, they never would. And again, I just had a sense that there was something going on. It was too good to be true. And that's where what happens is lenders can buy points. So when it's a too good to be true situation where, you know, today interest rates are 7%. If you're an FHA VA buyer, you're probably around like 6.3 to 6.5 with perfect credit. So if somebody's going to offer you in the 5s, to me, like, there's something going on there, because there are what's called a rate buy down, and there's also buying points, both which cost thousands of dollars and extra closing cost fees. But what happens are a lot of lenders dangle that carrot, and everybody sees it. Everybody sees the shiny carrot, and they're like, "Oh man, that looks awesome! I'm going to take that." Well, little did you know, typical closing costs on a $300,000 loan. I'm just going to say this number, $10,000. Well, you're 3 days away for a closing. You never paid attention to anything because you trusted this person, and all of a sudden your closing cost is $14,000, $4,000 higher than what it would be, and you're only saving, maybe $150 a month. So if you actually look at it, all right, well, $4,000, only saving $150 a month, so it's going to take 3 years to get my money back, but you may even refinance before then. And then as well as what they do, it's called a buy down, a 1-point buy down, to where your first 12 months, they will kind of prepay and buy that down a full percentage point. So your rate was actually let's just say 6.75. They're promising you 5.75. Well, sure, it is that for the first year, but what they don't tell you is in year 2, it's going to change back to the other rate. So it's just a whole, it's a sales job. That's what it is. It's like selling timeshare and car salesmen, right? They mislead, they misrepresent, they use certain words and verbiage, and certain sleight of hand to trick and con you into thinking something's maybe better than what it actually is. And I'm not knocking, I'm sure there's great people in all of those, but again, when you stereotype people and you Google sales, right, it's a lot of times it's timeshare and life insurance and car sales that these people are just getting bad reps because, they have, for the most part, we're just going to say unethical business practices to make their money, or unethical sales practices to make their money. So, just wanted to kind of do this video on it because 90% of people do not shop lenders. But when you do shop, don't have blinders on. All right, don't go in there blind and just be trusting everybody. Now, I will say the lenders that are on the list that we send you, I trust those guys 100%. They are not going to screw you over, but they still, rates, programs, approvals, cost, interest rate, all that between the 3 of them vary. One may be better for you and not as good for somebody else based on your situation and your credit score and and your income and all of that. That's why you shop. That's why you shop. Geez, just shop. You save thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. I see it all the time, and it makes me so happy when I see people do it. Makes me so happy when I see people shop. So, yeah, we'll do a video on that one. Don't go in blinders. Shop, shop, shop. You'll save money. Thanks.